So thank you everyone for joining our session today, Empowering Families to Build Community Connections. My name is Michelle Cheney, and I am the current Consortium Impact Consortium Coordinator. And I'm joined today by my colleagues, Inez Vega and Evelise Dunham, both from our lead state of Pennsylvania. So Impact is made up of 8 different states. And of course, we came together these past 3 years of the grant cycle to really look at how to strengthen the involvement of migratory parents in the education of their children. Our theory of action or framework in which we were able to encompass all of the work that we did had 3 pivot points or foundations. One is how to support parents to be able to support their children's learning at home, how parents, caregivers, and families as a whole can work with educators, schools, advocates, so anything around the educational institutions and folks like the migrant programs. And then through community, so community programs, services, and partnerships. So when you think about the work that we've done and a little of what we're going to share today, we've been centered around at home, with schools, and with and in community as part of our framework. So we're going to talk a little bit about the community work that we've done, and Evelise and Inez are going to share some examples. But we would like to know what prompted you to come today. So if you take advantage of that chat box and just drop some things in there, what are you hoping to see? What are you hoping to take away? What prompted you to join this particular class today? So go ahead and take a second and drop some ideas in the chat box for us. All right, thank you, Janet. I see some things coming in already. Looking for any ideas, all ideas to involve and support parents. Fantastic. Anyone else? How families can learn to advocate for themselves. Thank you very much. How to encourage parents to be more active in their children's learning. And this is great, but now the comments are coming faster than I can read them. So I encourage you to keep dropping them in there, and I will definitely go back and take a look at them. But I'm glad to see everyone here today. And of course, what we'd like to do is share a little about our consortium and the work that we did, especially this past year, but get you information and resources that might be able to help you with your program. And if it's not something that we have, when I go back through, maybe we've got some ideas about who to loop you back around to. So I will definitely take a look at what you put in there, and thank you so much for doing that. So keep them coming. All right. As a consortium, we look very closely at the idea of parents being partners in the education of their children. Obviously, parents know their children best, right? And parents are the key stakeholders along with their children in their children's education. So with this as our foundation and our core, we really wanted to look at how we could support parents in being more fully engaged with educators and the educational systems. And so we're going to just talk a little bit about that for a couple of minutes. The first thing that we really wanted to consider is the different roles, tasks, expectations that parents are often faced with, and make sure that those are clear to them. So what you see on the screen is really just one example of making sure that parents understand the options in terms of roles and expectations, tasks, what we want them to know and be able to do. So when we have a parent meeting, we let parents know that they can take on a number of different roles. If parents are new to the migrant program, if they're maybe a little bit shy, whatever that is, we let them know if you come to our meeting, whether it's a PAC meeting or some other parent engagement activity or event, you have the option to simply observe. I think that makes parents feel the most comfortable knowing that that role is available, because they may not know what to expect at the event or the activity, or what is expected of them. And so you see the different roles that we share with parents just around meetings. But one of the things that we did is work with parents on understanding the different roles and options they have on a wide variety of different activities and events that might be hosted by a school or a migrant program. This single act alone helps improve parent engagement in those types of events, because, it's really important that parents know what the event is about, but also what would be expected of them when they get to the event, or if they get to the event. So just an example of one of the things that we were able to do, and that is kind of quick and easy to do, if you will, that immediately kind of shoots up parent engagement and participation in different activities. The other things that we put together are a set of tools for administrators or parent engagement specialists. We highly recommend that you take a look at our family engagement action plan tools, and they're all on the website, and I'll share that with you momentarily. These are all around strategic planning and analysis. So planning for your parent engagement activities and analysis of the different types of parent involvement activities that you may have, and how to move them into different areas so that we're continually looking toward that parent empowerment and parents as partners piece. That's a mouthful, parents as partners piece. So if you will, take out a sheet of paper, pencil, and just follow along with me. We're going to ask you to do a little activity, and this is actually one of our tools. This is how it goes when you unpack our toolbox there. When we think about parent involvement, we think of three key categories: participation, engagement, and empowerment. And if you think of participation, this is that type of parent activity or meeting where the migrant program or the school has planned it for the parents, and we're facilitating everything. We've lined up guest speakers, we've got staff who are facilitating sessions, we've got people who are going to take care of the kids so that parents can participate in this activity. Really, what your expectation of the parents is that they come and they participate. Then we've got our engagement category. Engagement category really involves the parents a little bit more. Maybe their parents were part of, or at least a subset of parent leaders were part of the planning, the facilitation, or the follow-up on some basic level, right? Low collaboration, but it's there. The migrant program or the school didn't do everything for the activity. The parents were somehow part of some of the different pieces of it. And then when you think about the empowerment level, this is really where parents are fully or more fully integrated into all of those different pieces, the planning, facilitation, and follow-up that are important and necessary to make an event happen. And so this is where you really get into that piece where parents are empowered, parents are partners, parents are key facilitators, as I mentioned. They really have a much larger leadership role. And so what I would like you to do is, on your paper, create these three columns, these three categories, label them participation, engagement, empowerment. Think about the descriptions that I just reviewed briefly with you. And then think about the last 2 or 3 meetings or parent involvement activities that you were part of or that your migrant program put on. And which category would you drop them in? So literally write it under the category header. We had a family literacy night, and basically the migrant program planned it. We read with the parents and the kids. We showed them some of the work that the students had been doing. I'm going to put that in the participation category because really the migrant program staff did it all. So drop 2 or 3 things in there and see how your parent activities are playing out. When we ask our member states to do this as part of the use of the toolkit during their first year after these tools were just created, what many of them found is that a good number of activities fell into that participation category. And so that was enlightening because, of course, if we want parents to take leadership roles, if we want parents to be more empowered to support their own children's learning, we need to move them out of participation and into engagement and empowerment. And so that is the next step that some of our states were asked to do. They were then asked to take one of the items that was in participation and think about how to move it to engagement, or one of their activities that fell into the engagement category, and think about how to move it to empowerment, and then to later include that in their family engagement action plans. And so we have a facilitator's guide for all of these family engagement tools, and each tool comes with its set of instructions and examples. What you see here is what I just shared about describing the 3 different categories, but this is part of the examples and the instructions that come with this classification tool in our family engagement action plan tools. And so I just wanted to give you a glimpse at some of the tools that the Impact Consortium's created that are on our website and available for everyone to use to help really think about and strategically plan for those different family engagement activities that you do, or family involvement activities that you support. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Inez, who's going to give us some examples of their parent engagement, parent empowerment pieces in Pennsylvania. Inez?
Thank you, Michelle. Can you hear me clearly? Thumbs up.
We can hear you.
Okay, great. So here is an illustration of some of the things we've done in Pennsylvania. And to my far top left, we have kind of like a theme-related multicultural day with our specific communities, with our Nepali families. In Pennsylvania. So we hosted a multicultural day with many other communities, but this is a picture that we took with our Nepali MEP families. And for this particular event, we wanted to give the parents the opportunity to come together and to learn about their culture, their meals, their foods, their traditions, games, music, and all those things that you can kind of see on the top of the iceberg, right? When we're working with multi linguistic and diverse families. And this kind of granted the kind of like a safe space for families to wear their cultural attires and to talk about to kind of learn about each other. And although this picture was kind of just taken on its own with just our Nepali families, we had other families dressed up in their cultural attires, and it kind of gave them the opportunity to go around the not the tables, kind of like the exhibitions, and ask questions. And there were interactive events, probably games that took place in different types of music. So this is a clear example of the participation piece, right? Where we want we want to create an activity, an engagement, an activity where the parents show up, right? They're interested. They want to highlight um, what's important to them, right? And their value systems and traditions and culture and food. And that's a very easy event to kind of put together if you have parents that are willing to kind of partake in this event. And of course, before we do any of our events, we survey the families, and this was one of the events that the families wanted. They wanted a day to celebrate them. So it's a picture of one of my statewide Parent Advisory Council conference. Like, it's a PAC conference that I host every year. We used to host 2 conferences a year, one in the fall and one in the spring. But of course, the our funds slimmed down, and we went to one. And something that we honors not only is the interpretation needs. And what you see here is parents wearing their interpreting devices. That is a bit of an investment that you can use your Title One's funds, but it's so worth it. It is so worth it. And then we hire our language ambassadors, our interpreters that are sitting or standing in the back or the side of the room as the presentation is delivered. Most of our presentations are delivered in English and interpreted into oh my god, 5 to 6 languages. The interpreting devices, they have like about 6 to 7 transmitters. So each transmitter is assigned to a language. And then, as you can see there, our presenter also runs one of our summer camp programs, Ms. Joyce Avila. Um, and the parents were participating from a STEM activity. And this was not just the parents. We had some students here too, but this was I only had a picture of our parents for this image here, where the parents requested, how can we help our children with math, science, and reading, with technology? And so we created this 2-day event, this 2-day conference with a series of workshop sessions. And all of the workshop sessions focused on topics that the parents were interested in. And the way we went about obtaining the list of topics was at our quarterly state pack meetings that occur at the local level and also at the state level. So we were constantly, asking feedback from the parents. What's something that you would be interested in learning? And of course, kind of like develop and coordinate this 2-day event for them. So there was a lot of collaboration with our parent groups. And because we wanted to tailor this with them. During this event, we provided childcare from 0 to 12 years old. We provided childcare, and the youth, the teenagers from 13 to 21 years old, were in a different room with other instructors participating from youth engagement sessions to their interests, but also to align to the goals of our service delivery plan and or our parent advisory council annual work plan. We create a work plan. It's a working document. It keeps us on task on what we want to do for the next 2 years. And every other on an annual basis, we take a look at it and see, what can be changed. What are some things that the parents are requesting? So serving and assessing your parents, the needs for your parents is extremely important. And that is our ideal engagement example. And then to my far right, we have one of our local PAC representatives that is delivering a workshop session to other local PAC board members and guest parents that were invited to our statewide meeting. But also we also host these types of meetings at our regional levels. And the way we do this is we went about this is at one of our uh, parent advisory council meetings, and local meetings, we surveyed our parents, like, what are their set skills, what are their talents, what do they bring to the table. Many of our parents, all of our parents have a superpower, right? They have these set skills that only they know about, but nobody else knows. And we discovered that they were many highly educated migrant parents that unfortunately, due to the circumstances, they were not able to um, pursue their careers, what they had in their homeland, to pursue their careers here in Pennsylvania. And although they were working in the agricultural world, they had so many other skills and gifts. So we asked Kathy. Kathy was a social worker and a counselor in her home country, Dominican Republic, and she was very comfortable in talking to parents on self care and the importance of mental health. And one of the topics that the parents stated is that they needed more support and help on mental health. So why not pick one of our parents and to deliver this workshop session. And in this workshop session, we also provided interpreting services. I believe it was in Arabic. Um, it was only Arabic for this particular session, but if there was a need, we provide the interpreting services using our interpreting equipment and our language ambassadors. And this is also a great example of empowering parents to step up to the plate, right? And help us with the delivery of programs and services. And it was a great opportunity also for parents to serve as leaders and as role models to other parents. I don't have a picture, but we for this same session, we had another parent that she delivered a session on finances and the importance of budgeting your salary, your income. And that was, oh my god, that was like a very well received session that the parents wanted like more information, wanted more time with her. So that also gave us the opportunity, maybe we should consider these topics of interest for our future meetings. So we start our meetings, very formally, with minutes and all that, and go over things that we have to do as a program. But then and ended the session with two topics that our parents requested, and kind of tailored these sessions to the needs of both what parents would be interested in, also aligned to our annual work plan and our service delivery plan. I'm not sure if anybody has any thoughts on this. Work schedules, yeah. So work schedules, they do get in the way. Our meetings are held on Saturdays and Sundays and evenings. It seems like Thursday and Friday evenings work best for the parents, mostly Friday evenings. But yes, our meetings do take place on Saturdays and Sunday, and those are the dates that our parents have requested. We also surveyed, what date and time would be most appropriate for them. So this seemed like the best time of the day, and we hosted it in the weekend. We also provided our parents with stipends for the delivery and the coordination of the sessions, because they are entitled to that under the non-regulatory guidance and our PAC bylaws. And so that was another incentive. We do raffles with our parents, and I'm going to give the opportunity to Evelise to share some other best practice we do here in Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Ines. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here with us. Ines, I just wanted to add something to your conversation. You also provide childcare, so parents can bring their children, and there are educational activities for the children. And Ines mentioned something very important about having parents as role models and giving them the opportunity to shine. Because we have many parents with amazing skills, and they want to be engaged in those activities. Sometimes they are concerned because of the language barrier, but then we know we create different stations, and we know where to put them so they can talk and work with students and share their knowledge. So for example, here there was we did a STEM workshop in one of our community partners at the public library. And here, this is a parent conducting some activities, but actually we have two parents conducting some activities with some of our students. So one is the human body anatomy, and one was about the weather, how to measure the wind. And you see here, these are two parents from our parent board that took over from this stations, and they were working with our students. So it is amazing to see them not only participating, but very engaged in the program activity. Ines, back to you.
I just wanted to add, Evelise, that this was a wonderful, I participated from this event, and just the coordination of the collaboration with your community partners was exceptional. I think that's also key and important when coordinating family engagement events and meetings for our parents, is that we cannot do it all by ourselves, and we really need to reach out to our partners and our experts in the field. And I think this is a good segue for our next slide, Michelle.
That was a great segue, Inez. So when you all are thinking about the examples that were just provided and looking at participation versus engagement versus empowerment, the consortium in our third year, this one that we're getting ready to wrap up this month, also layered in this notion of community, right? So communities offer so many great resources and services, and we want families to have the knowledge and the skills to be able to access those resources and services on their own. We want them to feel the confidence, be empowered, have that information that they need to be able to do this. And so we spent a good deal of our time this year as a consortium scaffolding activities for families to be able to grow this area. So one of the things that we did this year is called our Collective Action Community Partnership Project or work. And each of our member states was asked to think about, in a local project area, migratory student needs. And was there a need? Is there a need that existed that affected a number of different migratory students? Maybe not one student or family, but a collective need. And because folks get into migrant education with such love and passion, a lot of times I see those advocates and educators in the migrant program, the recruiters, really owning a lot of the coordination of services and outreach to make sure that those kids and families get the services that are available. And so this is a way to look at collectively, how can different organizations, the migrant program and community organizations, and of course, parents, work together to come up with solutions for the problem or to outline a system of services to address the need. I'm not sure. I apologize what's happening with my video. It keeps going on and off. I think I'm having internet issues, but we'll just forge ahead. Okay. So I really want to talk a little bit about this collective action community partnership work that each of our member states has been doing this year, because it really gets at building that parent empowerment piece, also recognizing that parents are partners and key stakeholders in the work of educating their children. You see on the screen a few different just highlights of some of that work. One of the things that each of the member states did after they identified the area that they wanted to work on or the topic that needed to be addressed is create community asset maps. Who do we need to bring to the table? What do we know about the services, resources, and people at those agencies already? What do we want to know more about? And so, of course, this is all very important because of the social capital, not only for the migrant ed program, but also for the families, these social relationships that have benefits, that keep us connected and integrated with each other. And then this whole notion of collective action is that working together and each offering a piece provides more comprehensive services, but also reduces the individual organizational load, if you will, so that one group, one organization like the migrant ed program isn't owning all of the pieces, but we've got a system in place where if somebody comes in and has this need that's been identified, we know the 5 steps that have been put in place, the 5 agencies, who's going to provide what piece, and all we have to do is pull the trigger and start that system that was put in place. So this is the kind of work that our states are engaging in, and this is not something that happens in just one year. They started that work this year, and it will be progressing as they continue forward. All right. One of the other things that we did related to community and parent empowerment is develop a core set of 4 short videos designed for parents, caregivers, extended family members to know more about some key community agencies that you might be able to find in any community. So it's not contingent on where the family lives, and the kinds of community agencies that as families move from place to place, once they know more about the agency and how to access the services and how important the services are to their child's learning, that they could access on their own in any of the communities in which they move to and live in. And so I'm going to show a snippet of these. They're in the areas of healthcare, accessing food, so to address food insecurity at food banks. Libraries, local libraries offer so many great services that help with language and literacy developments, not just the books on the shelves, right? And then programming for school readiness for our preschoolers. So this is just an excerpt from our library video.
This video is part of a series on how community agencies and organizations can help support their children's health, well-being, and learning. We will explore community services, resources, and experiences that can help provide for essential needs, as well as extend what your child has learned in school. This video series is made possible through the Impact Consortium with member states in Arkansas, Colorado, Georgia, Illinois, Iowa, Kentucky, Montana, and the lead state, Pennsylvania. The key priority of Impact is to strengthen the involvement of migratory parents in the education of their children.
Public libraries serve communities and towns throughout the country. Libraries connect people to information and people to people. They play a key role in creating literature environments by offering attractive reading materials for all ages and all literacy levels. Many libraries offer adult and family literacy classes. Most libraries offer free Wi-Fi, computer usage, and classes to help the public stay engaged in the ever-changing world of technology. Families have access to storytelling for young children, teen rooms, after-school and summer programs, along with homework support. They often have special programming with guest speakers, animals, and STEAM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and math activities. Once you've obtained a library card, you can check out books, ebooks, music, and videos. They make it easy to obtain a card by going to the library or filling out an application online. Please consider locating your nearest public library to find out the many, varied, and interesting ways they can support you and your entire family.
My name is Austin, and I will be your tour guide, where you will have the opportunity to experience many of the resources our public libraries throughout the country might offer. Our second stop will be the Children's Area and Activity Corner. We have books for all ages and all levels of reading ability so that children can enjoy a variety of topics and interests. Libraries will always have a schedule of days and times you can bring your children to enjoy story time or other exciting literacy events for children. Our third stop on the tour will take us to the teen area. This area is becoming more popular throughout the country for young people to experience a safe gathering space to talk and share and participate in a range of activities. Our fourth area is supported by Wi-Fi and gives people an opportunity to use computers to help support the ongoing technology needs of their entire family. Many libraries even offer computer classes to help families stay on top of the continual changes in digital technology. Our sixth area at the library tour today brings us to the spot where most libraries provide a quiet area that can be used for studying, doing homework, or meeting with the tutor. Libraries also provide many resources that can help support students in their educational endeavors. These environments are quiet spaces where they can feel safe and concentrate on their studies while getting valuable support.
Okay. So, let me just say a little bit about the videos. You got a glimpse into one of them. Most of them are anywhere between 4 and 6 minutes long, so not too long. We also created the videos, out of the 4 videos, 2 in English, 2 in Spanish. We have a version of each of those videos that if it's in English, there are Spanish subtitles. If it's in Spanish, there are English subtitles. So just looking at addressing some of our multilingual learners out there, our parents who have different languages, we started with English and Spanish. We also created a short video facilitator's guide. So the links are available. You can grab the link. You can figure out whether you want to use it with parents and students at a family engagement event, or if you'd rather sort of disseminate it, maybe you're texting it out, sending it out another way in a newsletter or something to the parents. But we give some suggestions for not only how to use it and disseminate it, but activities that you might want to do before, during, and after, right? What we don't really recommend is that you just kind of cold call and send the links out without giving parents some context and an opportunity to discuss before they receive the videos and then after they receive the videos. The idea of the videos is to create at least that level 1 awareness. These are the types of agencies in the community. These are the things that they offer, and this is how it's important or why it's important to your child's learning. The next level, and we know that these start at an awareness level, but really with that information comes a little bit more confidence and some information in the videos provided to how to access those services on your own. But that would be sort of that next level conversation, discussion, and support, maybe from the local migrant program, about families being able to access some of these different services on their own as they move from community to community. These are all available on our website, and I do have a link here when you grab the slides. Oh, sorry, hang on.
Our sixth area
I've lost my mouse here. All right.
is a special space.
When you download the slides, you'll have links to all of the different ones, and they're also available on the website. And I do have the website up later in the presentation, which is impact.org, and you'll be able to see how to get to that. All right. So in terms of talking about community, this is a little bit about what the work of the consortium was, but the states, in terms of implementing the work and capitalizing on their community connections, have also done some other things. And so Evelise is going to highlight for us next what some of the work in Pennsylvania has been around community connections and community partnerships. Take it away, Evelise.
Thank you, Michelle. I would like to start by saying that partnerships with your local libraries are incredible. They offer a great variety of services, and right here I'm sharing some pictures of some activities that we conducted at the Allentown Public Library. And they have clubs, STEM clubs, book clubs, all sorts of different clubs for our students. And for the whole community, but we take a lot of advantage of that. We take it to the next level, and believe me, when you give parents the right tools and the right information, they become advocates not only for themselves but for other parents, and they spread the voice, and then they start participating in all these activities and taking advantage of. So there are a lot of things happening in the community libraries or the public libraries, and some of our parents do not know. So we have to give this information to some of our parents so they can spread the voice. So here you see an example of the Read Across America. When this was in March, we celebrate Dr. Zeus, and we have our literacy expo And right here you see that there's more than reading and writing and listening to stories. Right there, the first picture, they were playing golf in the at the library. And the students do they come, they have fun. And in another level, if you can show the next slide, Michelle. We had a bigger activity, and we call it Literacy Expo. And right here you see a lot of our families working with their preschoolers. So we talk during this activity, we talk about kindergarten readiness, but at the same time, the parents were dancing. They were engaging in different activities with materials that they can have at home. For example, the first pictures you see parents conducting activities. This is math because there was sequencing, counting, classifying by colors, by shapes. So some of our parents here were guiding other parents. We had for this activity parents with different languages. So we welcome them with posters in different languages so they feel included. And we have people who speak their language and guided them through different stations. And again, these are parents. These are parents conducting activities, guiding families, and presenting them to or including them or guiding them through the whole activity and visiting these community partners booths or tables because we had for over, I think it was 15, I'm not quite sure, because this was not only an activity for us comply with our service delivery plan and talk about kindergarten readiness. It was an activity to engage parents, to move parents, and to create a sense of community. And I have here parents who were advocates for other families. They took them to different tables. For example, we have the Sight for Hopes. They were conducting vision screenings, and these parents were telling them, hey, yes, I did this in the past, and this is a great opportunity for you. Take advantage, it's free. And the great thing is that they not only feel welcome, they don't not only feel like part of the family, they feel part of the community, and they take this information to other parents. And that's what we want for other parents to have the same opportunities and to continue bringing other parents, especially those that are newly I'm sorry, those are that just new in your community, so or in your programs. So we have community partners here like the neighborhood center and autism society because we don't tell parents here, we include all families, and we provide all sorts of services. We have community services for children and the Head Start program, parents and teachers, and we have United Way, the Lehigh Valley Reads. And this program, the Lehigh Valley Reads, they provide a great variety of resources, and we are partnering with them as well because they are running a program that is called Retoxing. So for this activity, we had music and we have games. And we have, if you see here a list of some of our community partners, the Second Harvest, they brought boxes with food that the parents could take home. So it is great to see how parents can take advantage of all these resources and how they can create that sense of community, and they connect a lot of parents with these agencies. And I want to close by telling you that we have a chat group in the WhatsApp, and we know when parents are moving from those levels that Michelle mentioned in the beginning, from participating to engagement to empowerment, when we see that these parents are posting there or are writing there in the chat that yes, these are resources, and if you need vision or if you need dental services, you can find them here. And they share those resources with other families, which is wonderful, and that's what we want. Those parents are our partners as well because they are spreading the word, they're sharing with all the families, and this help them as well in the schools because we see more participation, more engagement, and of course we're seeing more leaders. Thank you, Ness and Michelle.
Thank you, Felice. And what we see here is another example of from engagement to empowering parents to take the lead. And in Pennsylvania, I would say a good 5 to 6 years ago, we began to train our migrant support staff and our parent liaisons, parent coordinators, and our lead staff in the Be Strong family engagement model. So, and it's kind of it does not mimic. It was kind of like developed from the parent cafe world model, where parents come together to sustain conversations and to have a voice in those conversations of topics that interest them. But what's very unique of the Be Strong Parent Cafe model is that this is research based, and it was developed in the state of Illinois. It's research based, and it was developed by the Center for Study of Social Policy, and its purpose was to increase family strengths, enhance child development, and reduce the likelihood of child neglect. Um, it was based on engaging families, programs, and communities in building 5 protective factors, which are here: parent resilience, social connections, knowledge of parenting, child development, and concrete support in times of need, and social emotional competency of children. And here you have some examples of the protective factors and questions that are aligned to these protective factors. And when you're trained in a model and you're sustaining the conversations, you pick 2 questions out of the card. And there's some rules that you have to follow as part of the module, as part of the guide. And we found that parents really embraced this model. It kind of gave them a safe space to talk about their parenting. There was no judgment. It was a space where they listened to each other. And then in the harvesting, and reflecting about the conversations that took place at the table, they reflected upon what they learned from each other, areas that they need more support, and also gave us, the migrant education program, idea of workshop sessions for future PAC events. It developed a sense of leadership in parents because when you implement the Be Strong Parent Cafe model, there has to be a parent that is kind of like the table host and takes the lead on sharing the questions with the other parents. And what you see here is a group of my PAC council that was trained, and they were waiting for their other parents to arrive to host the parent cafe. And I want to say that I have 2 language interpreters here. So this cafe probably was delivered in Spanish and in Swahili. The groups kind of like kind of sit together so that they're able to sustain those meaningful and deep dive conversations. And I invite the participants that if you haven't heard of the Be Strong Parent Cafe, to look into providing some training opportunities for your staff, and you won't regret it. It is a great model to implement. They also have an online version. So if you don't want to sustain any on-site parent cafe meetings, you can also deliver it online. And we've delivered a series of online Be Strong Parent Cafe models virtually, especially during the midst of the pandemic. That was a very good strategy, and kind of like a model that we use to bring the parents together.
Sorry, Inez. I moved us too fast.
No, I'm
Thank
good.
you so much. Thank you so much to Inez and Evilise. You know, whenever we participate in workshops or conferences as educators, I know what people really look for the most are examples from other places. And that's what they ask for the most. Tell us what so-and-so is doing, what's going on in other places. And so to think about the work of the consortium and then all of the different ways that states implement our activities and expand and encompass your own parent empowerment activities, these were really great examples today. So thank you very much for sharing with us. We have come to that time where we're going to do just a couple of housekeeping items and then open it up for questions. So if you would, in the chat room, please share one new idea that you gained from the session today. We certainly hope that it was helpful and hope that everybody's got something to take away that you didn't know before you entered the room. While you're doing that, this is the Impact website. Now keep in mind this current consortium is winding down. In the next couple of days, our grant cycle actually ends the last day of September. There was a new parent empowerment consortium or parent engagement consortium granted that will start October 1st. We are calling that Impact also without that little 2 in there. It's Impact, just parent engagement for student success. And if you join us for the closing session, we're going to share a little bit more about what our work will be coming up in the next 3 years. And then any information that's on this website currently will be moved to our new website when that's up and running. So fear not, all the information will be there. I encourage you to take a look at the Educator and Advocates tab, and then under that, instructional resources. So all of the items that we mentioned today in terms of the videos, the facilitators guides, etc., all there with some other things that we've created. There are also some really nice resources under the Parents and Caregivers tab that are designed specifically to be used by parents and caregivers, but often need the support of a migrant staff person to help them be able to use those resources. So just something to think about. And then if you'd like to follow up with any of us to get more information or dig a little deeper into anything that you heard today, you'll have our contact information here. So at this point, let me stop sharing and take a look at some things that you guys popped in the chat box. And if anybody has any questions, you go ahead and drop those in the chat box right now as well. So thank you. People are posting about things that they learned, providing parents information, how to utilize the library, making your own videos, the information resources that the consortium put together. All right. So we appreciate that. Any questions? I don't see any questions in the chat right now. Yep, just the importance of voice messages. Thanks, Inez, are also a great way to communicate with families. Yeah, the videos were a hit. We've done videos in the past as a consortium, and they were a big hit. All right, I don't see any questions. But we will hang out for a couple more minutes if anybody has any questions and you want to hang back. And thank you all very much for everything today. And a special thank you to Pennsylvania, Evilise, and Inez for all of the great resources and information and examples that you guys were able to provide. We appreciate that very much.